Most people focus on the moment the display happens. The unboxing, the mounting, the spotlight turning on, the first photo posted online. But the real story doesn't start there. It starts the day after. Today, we're looking at what really happens after your collectible is displayed for the first time. When the excitement fades, the room gets quiet again and long-term consequences quietly begin. Because displaying something isn't just decoration. It's a decision, and every decision in collecting changes something. Let's start with the moment everyone remembers. The first display is powerful. You finally take the item out of the box, you position it carefully, you adjust the lighting, you step back, and it feels right. It feels like ownership, like pride, like arrival. Maybe it's a graded card, a vintage watch, a rare coin, a signed print, a sealed game. You tell yourself, it deserves to be seen. I bought this to enjoy it, it'll be fine. At the time, this decision made sense. Because collecting isn't just about storage, it's about connection. And the first display feels like you've crossed into a new level of being a collector. But the display doesn't just change the room, it changes the item's future. The day after, things still look fine. The piece is there, it looks incredible. You walk past it and feel that same small spark of satisfaction. Maybe you get compliments, you take more photos, you feel more connected to your collection. Nothing bad happens, no fading, no cracks, no visible issues. And that's important, because early reassurance makes us confident the decision worked. You think, I was overthinking it. This was the right move, and often, in the short term, it is. But collecting is rarely about the short term. This is where the invisible shifts begin. Light, temperature, humidity, air exposure, microdust, handling frequency. The display changes the environment the item lives in. Even subtle shifts matter over time. A little more sunlight each afternoon, a little more handling when showing friends, a little less protective casing than before. Then behavior changes too. You adjust it more often, move it to better lighting, rotate items casually, open cases just to look. Small compromises, small exposures, none dramatic, but they compound. And the biggest change? The item is no longer treated as purely an asset. It becomes part of your daily environment. And that changes your psychology. You become more attached, more emotionally invested, sometimes less objective. This is the invisible layer most collectors never talk about. The consequences don't arrive loudly, they arrive slowly. Years later, slight discoloration, minor edge wear, reduced grading potential, subtle material stress, or sometimes nothing visible at all, but resale conversations feel different. Because buyers ask, was it displayed? And now that matters, not because display is wrong, but because exposure always has a cost. Nothing broke overnight, no disaster happened, but value is rarely lost in dramatic moments. It's eroded gradually, and by the time it feels sudden, it's already been happening for years. Most people don't ignore problems, they simply don't see them yet. Why? Because of 1. Emotional investment. You love seeing it, so risk feels smaller. 2. Overconfidence. It's protected enough. 3. Process blindness. We track purchase prices, we track market trends, but we rarely track environmental exposure. 4. Cognitive bias. If nothing went wrong in month 1, we assume month 12 is safe too. 5. Identity shift. It stops being a collectible, it becomes decor. And decor is treated differently than assets. There's no judgment here. Every collector feels this tension. Display versus preservation, enjoyment versus protection, visibility versus longevity. People with experience don't judge display decisions by the moment they're made. They ask, what's the long-term intention of this item? Is it emotional value or financial value? Can I create a display environment that controls light and humidity? Should I rotate display pieces instead of keeping one exposed permanently? Do I have documentation of condition before and after display? Experienced collectors monitor environmental stability, UV exposure, handling frequency, insurance coverage, market positioning. They separate display pieces from preservation pieces. They plan the day after and the year after and the decade after, not out of fear, out of strategy. Platforms like MPC exist for this reason, to help collectors think structurally about their collections, to track condition, to document changes, to separate emotion from data, because serious collecting isn't just about acquisition, it's about life cycle management. The lesson isn't don't display, the lesson is plan for the day after. One mindset shift: don't ask, will this look good here? Ask, what will this look like in 5 years because it was here? One framing principle: every exposure is a trade-off. One long-term question: am I displaying this for enjoyment or for validation? That single question changes everything. Most collectibles don't lose value the day they're displayed. They lose value or gain deeper meaning in the days, weeks, and years that follow. The first display feels like a celebration, but the real decision begins the day after. If this changed how you think about displaying your collection, that's the goal. This is the day after, and next week we'll explore what happens after the first big sale. Until then, protect wisely, collect intentionally, and if you want to manage your collection with structure, strategy, and long-term thinking, join us inside my premium collection.